Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Around the League. Today we are continuing with our college sports conference tour, talking about one of those non-football conferences that you may know better from something like basketball. If you don't know of this conference, it's probably because you don't live in an area where any of these schools are. I grew up in an area where this conference did not touch, and so I grew up without knowledge of many of these schools, but some of them have kind of popped into just kind of the common lexicon of talking about college basketball or other sports. This is the Atlantic 10 Conference, originally kind of focused around the Atlantic states, now having moved its way inward, similar to something like the Big East, but this is kind of a lesser Big East in the same way that maybe Conference USA is a lesser American conference. But we're going to start in Missouri and work our way all the way to the East Coast, talking about the 14 schools that will make up the Atlantic 10 Conference next year. So we're going to start in Missouri, zoom in here on St. Louis, and the school we're looking for is none other than St. Louis University. So St. Louis, probably better known academically for Washington University, but if you zoom in on downtown and just go to the west of Midtown, you should find St. Louis University. That is home, of course, to the Billikens. They are the only school in Missouri that play in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Let's then go up to Illinois, to Loyola University. Of course, a few years ago, I'm starting to date myself now, it was more than a few years ago, but Loyola University Chicago, of course, making that fantastic Final Four run coming out of nowhere. They are, of course, in Chicago, but we got to find where in Chicago. So if we zoom in here on downtown and go up the coast, we should eventually run into Loyola University. Go past Wrigley Field here. Continue all the way up past Montrose Beach. And we keep going until we reach Loyola University, Chicago. The Ramblers play right there at Joseph J. Gentile Arena. Next, we're going to move over to Ohio, a single school in Ohio as well. That is over in Dayton. Now, we've already talked about the Horizon League school in Wright State, which is over in Fairborn. But if we zoom in on Dayton itself, it shouldn't be too difficult to find the University of Dayton on the southern edge of town. That is home to the Dayton Flyers, probably the more famous of the schools for most people in Dayton, Ohio. We continue into Pennsylvania, 3 schools in Pennsylvania, 1 in Pittsburgh, 2 in Philadelphia. So if we zoom in on Pittsburgh, the school that we're looking for is Duquesne University, or if you're unfamiliar with how to spell it, I always remember to look at it as Duquesne. But Duquesne University is going to be located similar in area to all of the other schools. So Carnegie Mellon, of course, University of Pittsburgh are all going to be over in this eastern side, over by North Oakland, but Duquesne is actually downtown Pittsburgh. So just south of the hockey arena is going to be Duquesne University, home to the Duquesne Dukes. One of a number of schools. I mentioned Carnegie Mellon and the University of Pittsburgh. Of course, Robert Morris University is also in the Pittsburgh area, but Duquesne is literally downtown Pittsburgh. We go over then to Philadelphia. 2 schools we're looking for. One of them is LaSalle. The other one in the conference that we are looking for is St. Joseph's. So if we zoom in on Philadelphia, we talked in a previous video about Penn and Drexel University, which are just kind of to the west of downtown here. If we continue going all the way west until we hit kind of the creek and then work our way to the north near Marion Station, we should run into St. Joseph's University. The Hawks play there in northwestern Philadelphia. And then LaSalle University is going to be more to the east, so straight north of downtown Philadelphia. If we zoom in here to the south of the Aubrey Arboretum, we should find ourselves at LaSalle University, just off of North Broad Street as we get up into the Somerville Avenue, Olney Avenue area, but that is LaSalle University. Let's then go up to New York, start in New York City. 2 schools in the state of New York, the first one in the Bronx at Fordham University. So if we zoom in here, go north into the Bronx, Fordham University is going to be located just to the west of Bronx Park. So if we go up by the Bronx Zoo and continue to the north, there it is right on the edge. Fordham University, home to the Fordham Rams. And the other school is all the way up in St. Bonaventure. That, of course, is St. Bonaventure University. So the best way to find St. Bonaventure is to find the state border with Pennsylvania and go west of Elmira all the way over until we find Weston Mills, Allegheny, that area, and zoom in on St. Bonaventure. And St. Bonaventure University, the Bonnies are going to play right off of the Allegheny River at St. Bonaventure University. We're going to skip Massachusetts for this video. Of course, UMass or UMass Amherst are moving to the Mid-American Conference next season, so we're not going to include them in this video, but we will include them in our MAC update video. But we are going to go over to Rhode Island. Rhode Island, a very interesting state size and shape-wise, but the city we are looking for is Kingston. So if we zoom in down south here, just inland of Narragansett, and find our way to Kingston, the University of Rhode Island basically makes up that entire town area. That is home of the Rams, not of Fordham, but of the University of Rhode Island. 4 more schools to go, 3 of them in Virginia. So if we zoom in on Washington, D.C., and go directly west of Washington, D.C. through Arlington, we're going to find ourselves in Fairfax, specifically the suburb of Fairfax called George Mason. This is home to George Mason University. They play their games there at the Eagle Bank Arena. And then 2 schools in Richmond. So we zoom out and go down into the state capital at Richmond. The first one we're going to look for is the University of Richmond, which is located to the northwest on our way to Tuckahoe. So if we zoom in here off of the Country Club of Virginia, there we should find the home of the Spiders, the University of Richmond. And the other school located in Richmond is Virginia Commonwealth University. So VCU, if we zoom out here and go back into downtown, just to the northwest is going to be VCU. Yet another school with the mascot of the Rams. There are 3 of them in this conference, believe it or not. But Virginia Commonwealth University, downtown Richmond. And then last but not least, 1 school in North Carolina. We have to find Davidson. So if we go down to Charlotte, the largest city in the state, and we go up to the north, all the way to Lake Norman, we are going to find the city of Davidson. Davidson College, not Davidson University, at least not yet. Probably best known as the alma mater of Steph Curry, a big basketball school out of the A10, of course, home to the Wildcats. Play their games there at John Belk Arena. But those are all 14 schools that will make up the 2025 Atlantic 10 Conference, of course, as we exclude UMass Amherst. Let me know what you thought in the comments section below. If there are other conferences you want us to cover that we haven't yet, maybe they're on our schedule, maybe we just have yet to record them yet. We're trying to get through all D1 colleges at least ahead of this year's college basketball season. Otherwise, let me know what else you'd like to see on this channel, and we will hopefully see you very, very soon.